Welcome to the Regional Chamber's annual Good Morning Youngstown program. I'm Kim Calvert, Vice President of Marketing and Business Services, and I'd like to thank you for joining us for a very special event on this beautiful last day of the work week. We have a great program to present today. Typically at our Good Morning event, we would bring you updates from leaders around the city. But as all eyes are on Youngstown these days for its phenomenal success and growth, many will also be watching to see who will become its new mayor in 2014. And so we were happy to invite all of you here to meet and get to know a little better the mayoral candidates running in the Democratic primary. Before we get started with the debate, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Brilex Industries for sponsoring our program. We would certainly not be able to host any of our events without the support and generosity of our member companies. And I'm pleased to say that Brilex has been a longtime partner of Good Morning Youngstown for the past 8 years. Can we please give them a round of applause? Of course, Alex and Brian Benyo are here to represent Brilex Industries this morning. Thanks to you for your continued support of the Chamber, the City of Youngstown, and this event. Just a couple of quick notes about upcoming events on the Chamber's calendar for your information. You can find all the details about these online at regionalchamber.com. Next Friday, April 12th, Warren Mayor Doug Franklin will be giving his annual State of the City address at Good Morning Warren. On May 23rd, we will honor 29 professional women in the Valley at our 21st Athena Award Dinner, at which Ann Byler, founder of Auntie Anne's Pretzels, will be our keynote speaker. And don't forget about our Young 2013 golf outing on June 5th at the Mill Creek Golf Course, North and South courses. The event sold out last year, and from what we heard, you do not want to miss out on this one. And finally, in partnership with Data Recovery Services, we are hosting the Northeast Ohio Technology Summit on May 9th. The day will include breakout sessions tailored to small and medium-sized businesses that focus on today's leading technology challenges. Business leaders will be able to learn about which technology solutions will most benefit their companies and how to implement those solutions. And now, turning back to our candidates debate, it is my pleasure to call on the Regional Chamber's Government Affairs Council to facilitate and moderate. Please join me in welcoming Council Chairman Mr. Gary Sukanik, President and CEO of 717 Credit Union.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to our Good Morning Youngstown event and the Youngstown Mayoral Candidate Forum in preparation of the May 7th Democratic primary. We'll have a chance to ask the candidates some questions. First, I'd like to introduce Jamel Tito Brown, currently the President of the Youngstown City Council. And John McNally, former Mahoning County Commissioner. We'll give each candidate about 5 minutes to do an intro on themselves, and then we'll ask them to also articulate why they want to be the next mayor of Youngstown. Afterwards, we'll ask candidates some predetermined questions, and if time allows, we'll also allow questions from the audience. You should all have note cards at your places, so please use those to write down any questions. And if you'll pass them to the front of the front table here, we'll be able to ask those questions. We think we'll probably have time to do that. First, we'd like to start with Mr. Brown. If you'd like to give us an intro and tell us why you want to be the mayor of Youngstown. And please be as brief as possible. We may allow follow-up questions if necessary.
Good morning. Thank you so much. You said 5 minutes and then you said be brief. I'm not sure which one. So we'll take it. I want to be appreciated today, so I'll go on the brief side. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamel Tito Brown, and I'm currently the President of Youngstown City Council. I used to be the 3rd Ward City Councilman, and now I'm sitting as President of Council. Just a little bit about the City of Youngstown. Many of you know that we've been known for so long for our negative image. And now we're known for our positive image. We were known for Black Monday. We were known for homicide. We were known for suicide. We were known for job loss. And now we're known for positive image. The image where it's not a coincidence where you have a sitting president that will put your name in the State of the Union. So we're moving forward. As mayor, I want to continue that forward progress that's been started by Mayor Williams and continued by Mayor Samrall. And some of the things that I want to do as mayor, I want to make sure that we continue looking at job retention and growth, as such as the projects like a V&M. We need to make sure we continue partnerships with our outlying municipalities, like the one we did with Mayor Melfi and Girard. Some of the other things I want to focus on as mayor, I want to look at our neighborhoods, because that's critical. Our neighborhood needs to be about development. We need to focus on people who are living there, doing a sensible target demolition program, removing the blight, cleaning up the corridors so people feel safe in those neighborhoods. And surely last but not least, we want to make sure we focus on safety and crime throughout the city of Youngstown, especially in our neighborhoods. We want to make sure that we look at maybe continuing with the SERVE program, boosting it up a little stronger. We want to make sure that we look at a universal system of maybe some neighborhood camera systems and surveillance, because I think that's critical to help fight crime. And also I want to make sure we focus on how to get more officers out on the street and patrol, maybe looking at a 311 system, non-emergency number, so we can have the officers out of their car, on the beat, and dealing with the critical issues in those neighborhoods. So I took the brief side of this conversation just to kind of give you a background of who I am, what I want to do. My focus is moving forward, not back. We can't afford to go back. We want to continue the positive image that the city of Youngstown is gaining, and we're moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jamel Tito Brown. Thank you so much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to be here. Thanks to the folks at Brilex for their sponsorship of today's event. For those of you who don't know me, and I see a lot of friendly faces in the crowd that I've seen and met over the past 15 years. My name is John McNally. I'm a former Mahoning County Commissioner. I served 8 years as County Commissioner here in Mahoning County. And I think the mic went out a little bit, so I'm going to go scream a little bit. In addition to serving as Mahoning County Commissioner, I worked for 7 years in the City of Youngstown's Law Department, about 5 years as an Assistant Law Director, handling the city's labor and human resource issues. I served about 2.5 years as the Law Director for the City of Youngstown. In that time, I think my proudest moment, and probably the proudest moment of my career in politics and in the legal profession, is the work that the city did with the Covelli Center to make sure that that building was built, properly funded, and has become the beacon of downtown Youngstown. A little bit about myself. I grew up on the north side of Youngstown, lived in Liberty with my parents, went to St. Ed's on the north side, graduated from Ursuline, went away to college to Georgetown University, where I got my degree in international politics. And even though Youngstown is not the hub of international politics, it is a hub of politics, and I decided that I wanted to return back here in 1998. Married my high school sweetheart, and who I met in a lunch line at Ursuline High School, I think in 1985. She says she doesn't remember that meeting at all. For some reason, it's ingrained in my mind, but she doesn't remember it at all. So it was a very momentous meeting for her. We have two great young daughters. I have a daughter, Kara, who's 10, and a daughter, Casey, who's 7, both of whom are very active in sports and good little students. So make no mistake about it, if you're involved in politics, if you're involved in campaigning, like Tito and I are involved in, you need to have a great spouse and you need to have a great family who's willing to put up with all of your absences from home, whether it be leaving the house at 7 o'clock in the morning and telling your wife, hey, you have to get the kids to grandma's house this morning before you go to work because you forgot to tell her that yesterday, or it's getting home to coach softball or soccer in the evening and then go out for a little bit more. So life in the life that Tito and I have chosen at different times presents its own challenges, but I'm committed to the city of Youngstown. I decided to run for mayor, I want to say probably about 9 years ago, when right after I was elected county commissioner, my wife and I moved from the north side of Youngstown to the west side of Youngstown, and I discussed with her back then I didn't want to leave the city of Youngstown because I knew down the road that I wanted to run for the mayor's office. I have my law degree and a master's in public administration, and over the past 15 years, using both of those degrees in law and in politics and in my daily legal practice, has presented some great opportunities for me. So that's a little bit about myself. I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. It's great to see so many people continue to be interested in the city of Youngstown. No matter what anybody, I think, in our community says, I still believe that Youngstown is the hub of the entire Mahoning Valley. We need a strong mayor. We need a qualified mayor. We need a mayor that's going to push the city forward. I believe I'm that person. And for those of you who live in the city of Youngstown, I'm asking for your vote today, and I'm asking for your vote on May 7th. Thank you.
Thank you both. I don't know, Tito, I don't know how you slipped the battery out of that microphone, but that was pretty slick. Okay, our first question, and we're going to rotate to be fair, so we'll let Mr. Brown answer this question first. What is the #1 issue facing the city, and what would you do to deal with the issue?
I believe it's jobs. Individuals who want to work, they have to work, they want to be able to raise their family. One of the specifics I want to talk about is, when I talk about jobs, is marketing the city of Youngstown. We talk about Youngstown and where we live. There's a cost of living. If I would talk to a business owner, I would tell them the cost of living is great here. We have a workforce that's ready to work and educated. We also would talk about some of the assets that we have in this community as far as our Youngstown State, our arts, our entertainment. Then I would definitely let them know about the people here. The people here in the city are resilient. We have people who are worked in this community for many years. But job retention has to be in job growth. We have to make sure those that are here, we are able to keep them. And those that want to grow that are already here, we want to make sure we help them do that. I don't think we do that well enough. So we're going to make sure we do job retention and growth. But also want to make sure people know where Youngstown, Ohio is. I want to make sure we are able to use the technology. The world is flat now, so we can market Youngstown with videos and make sure that we're putting ourselves in publications where business owners are, trade shows, as well as if we have opportunities to go travel out throughout the world. I think we can't afford not to market the city of Youngstown and let them know, here's where we are, here's what we can do for you, here's what we have to offer. Thank you.
I think the biggest challenge facing the city of Youngstown is twofold. First, we're working on such positive news here in our valley, whether it's V&M, whether it's the growth of downtown. But the one thing we cannot do, and I think we sometimes forget about, especially for those of us in the community who don't live in the city of Youngstown, we forget about the neighborhoods. And we really do need to work on the arteries in the city of Youngstown. Not only cleaning them up, but also helping with small business development in those arteries of the city. We're not focused on one particular ward over another. We need to have each ward be a focus of City Hall's efforts in small business development. We can have all the big projects that come to our area. We can have all the marketing efforts to publicize the downtown. But if we forget what's going on in each neighborhood, if we forget what's going on Glenwood Avenue, on Mahoning Avenue, on the Logan and Wick corridor, on the south side on South Avenue. If you look at Market Street and the work that Dr. Billick has done to clean up the corridor over there with the help of the city of Youngstown and with his own staff, just a tremendous job. But we need to have a focus on all of the wards and all of the arteries of the city of Youngstown. That's something we've been talking about probably for about 15 or 16 years. It was the focus of the 2010 plan, but we need to have a direct and concrete attack on those problems. I'm glad to see that Mayor Samarone and his law department is focused on a court or some prosecuting work to clean up Logan Avenue. If you go down there, a couple of the buildings, one of them just came down this week. The old State Chevrolet building just came down. We need to have the direct efforts to clean up those neighborhoods. The positive news is fantastic, but we can't let that overwhelm all of the work that's still needed in the city.
Okay, thank you both. The second question, besides the mayoral primary, there's a charter amendment on the May 7th ballot that would ban fracking, injection wells, and associated oil and gas supply chain activities in Youngstown. Where do you stand on this issue?
Well, I will say that I did sign that petition because I do believe that we have the right, the voters have the right to discuss these issues and put them on the ballot. However, many of the provisions in that fracking amendment, for lack of a better term, I think are completely off base. I believe they're probably for the most part entirely unenforceable by the city of Youngstown, and probably most importantly, I think they're unconstitutional, and I wouldn't expect the Ohio Supreme Court or any court to rule favorably on issues related to that are on that particular charter amendment. I think the individuals who are pushing that charter amendment are very well intentioned. Obviously, the protection of our waterways, protection of our environment, protection of our land is obviously a very important topic. But the fact is, the city of Youngstown as itself right now does not have the resources to police that industry by itself. And that's why it's so important that folks like Joe Schiavone, Ron Gerberry, Bob Hagan are forcing the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency to enforce the laws that currently exist on the books. So those folks are elected to represent us at the state level. These issues are going to be legislated and ruled by the state, and unless the state wants to give us a significant amount of money to put together an environmental task force here in the city of Youngstown or in the Mahoning Valley to oversee that industry, it's something that we just don't have the resources to monitor. The mayor, city council president, all have to be vigilant and protect the residents of the city of Youngstown. But that amendment itself is not the solution.
Where do I stand? I'm against the charter amendment. First of all, because I don't think it's one of those issues that you can police and govern. I told them that when I get to the election poll that day, I will vote no on it. I have no problem with telling that publicly, because I think the issue is not necessarily these individuals are talking about safety and controls, but they're also not realizing the potential that we have to tell that industry, stay away from Youngstown. We can't afford that. I won't turn my back on that economic opportunity for this community, the people in this area, because we need that. If you look at V&M, if V&M Star had not had such a success, or looking at the success of this industry, we wouldn't have that investment by V&M. We wouldn't have been chosen for this community for V&M. So we need to make sure that we keep that economic opportunity in front of us, and we do everything to protect the citizens in this community. But I also want to tell the Schiavones, the Gerberrys, and the Hagans that we need stronger local control here in this valley, so that we can police and we can ensure our citizens that we have a handle and a control over this industry when they come in. They need to understand you need to respect this community. You need to work for our safety. I'm raising my family here. Everyone's raising their family here. We want to be able to tell our grandchildren, our children, that this is a place that's safe to raise their family and grow their family. So I am not for that charter amendment, but I am not going to turn my back on the economic opportunity for this industry. Thank you.